Well, we have some good news and some not so good news. And we're going to talk about both on this live edition of
Who's from the Hills?
what is going on out there, Mountaineer basketball fans and Hoops from the Hills fans. Thank you for joining us on this live episode of Hoops from the Hills here at 7:20 p.m., 7:22. We're actually late. 7:22 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, April 24th. First, let's talk about the bad news, not so good news. Noah Farrakhan, the one player that many Mountaineer fans, myself included, were hoping would stay around, has now entered or has decided to enter the transfer portal. Uh, Paul, what are your thoughts on that? And then I'll give you mine.
Well, I think I told you about this off camera yesterday. We were kind of told he had 2 years left, and I think that's up in the air anyway. Um, Due to like him needing a medical register or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that was one issue with it. Um, and there's just nobody left. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, Opry.
it's wild, you know. But it's not. I'm not surprised. I think if he's a loss, I think he probably would have got better. Um, but there's really no way to tell. I
Mm-hmm.
think I had a coach tell me that he's just never been really coached that hard
Mm-hmm.
in his life. He's
Gotcha.
always been more athletic than everybody else. Um, better even in East Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this was probably an adjustment for him, and we saw it once he got up amongst the trees.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of he was his athleticism didn't quite translate as much, so I think he just needed to add to his game, and certainly he had some breakout games, some really nice games where I was like, see, that's the guy I've been telling everybody about because I was really high on him. uh and I mean, it's not like he was terrible at all. That's why we
Right.
wanted him to stay.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, you know they're going after nothing but guards, right? So how's he supposed to take that? You know, the guys they're bringing in, if Okani comes, which he'll be a wing player, um, and this kid that's coming, soon, probably on a visit comes, and another guys they're going after, they're all better than him, in my opinion. So, uh, not a ton better, but better, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So, especially the kid from Oklahoma State, that's
Yeah.
no brainer.
Yeah.
So I think he just saw the writing on the wall, seeing that they're trying to really recruit high. They're aiming high. I mean, they really swung at some big guys, and it missed, but they're trying. So
Yeah.
he probably thought, well, I better get moving on.
That's fair. Real quick before we get any further, I want to give a shout out to the $20 super chat that I should have acknowledged earlier, but it's from Sean Uphold. Sean, we thank you for the support, man. Thank you for the donation and the super chat. He says won't be able to catch it live, but let's go Mountaineers. Well, whether you're watching it live or on the replay, it all helps, and we appreciate the support. And if you are watching, whether it be live or on the replay, be sure to hit that thumbs up button if you like what we're doing here at Hoots from the Hills. That always helps the algorithm. Please be sure to subscribe and drop a comment. Um, and
Well, real quick,
yeah,
oh,
go ahead. No,
I
go
was going
ahead.
to mention his business that he has in
Yeah,
Morgantown.
shoot, yeah, go ahead.
Well,
You there?
sounds like my headphones went out.
They did. I can still hear you, but your headphones aren't working anymore. Actually, you'd probably be better off to turn them off and just use your phone. Uh, Real quick, I'm going to go ahead and run the ad and give a shout out to our channel sponsor, Dutch Miller Automotive.
This episode of Hoops from the Hills is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time.
With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for.
Check out our inventory across West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com, or you can come in person today to the home of friends and family pricing, only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you.
Near you.
Okay, got some breaking news here, Couz.
Yep. And Ronald beat us to it, man. So did awesome. Go ahead and share it for the group, Paul.
Toby O'Connie, the wing player I was just talking about, which I had already assumed was going to.
Got some breaking news here, Couz. Yep. Ronald beat us to it.
I'm hearing myself on X. It screwed with me. Has committed to West Virginia. This is a huge get for us. I'll probably have to change the thumbnail, Couz, right as soon as we're done.
No worries.
But so instead of Farrakhan on there, Portal out, probably have to put him on there. It's just too big of news. It's got a feature. Yeah. So
absolutely.
Let's hit the replay button here. Let's go back a little bit.
Let's do it. Let's talk about Toby
O'Connie has committed to West Virginia. This is incredible news to me. There are people out there. There are detractors that will bring up his shooting percentage. His turnover ratio was not great. There are other things about him that certain people don't like, but he's an elite defender. He scored 11 points a game at University of Illinois Chicago. So he doesn't come in as a dynamite scoring option, but he has had games where he has gone off. He put up 31 against our coach, Darren DeVries, the game against Drake. And we saw how tough they were on defense this year. I would say they were probably Power 5 level as the defensive team, close to it. They had a better offensive team this year. Drake did, but they definitely played pretty good defense. And he played 59 minutes in that game. So he's an incredible wing talent. Now like I said, he's got the ability to get way better on the offensive end. We'll see if it happens. But as of right now, imagine if we signed Gabe again, and that's a very similar comp to who this kid is, but a much better shooter. He's got a great form. As a matter of fact, Couz, can you go to his X page and share those highlights that he posted yesterday?
Yeah, sure.
It's just a video he made. So it doesn't have any kind of copyright to it. If you guys haven't seen Toby O'Connie, this video will get you hyped for him. And he did a really good job highlighting all the good things that he does. Just remember that it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And I want to tell you both sides of it. He's got work to do. But Darren DeVries is a well-known developer of players. Check this out. It's got sound too, Couz.
I've got to turn the sound off, but we can watch the highlights.
Okay. So as you can see, he's got a good-looking stroke. Supreme athlete, like upper echelon athlete, A+ athlete. He's got it's a really good-looking mid-range shot. It's just that the numbers weren't. His shooting percentage was low. But you can see he's got the tools, no doubt about it. Look at that dribble handle. Nice.
I like his
elbow.
I like his form.
But this is where he shines, on the defensive side of the floor, truly. That's where he's the best. And this kid is going to come in and be an all Big 12 type performer. Look at that dunk. I mean, that's elite. As you can see, though, he's got touch and ability around the rim. He's just got to get more consistent. If he does that, we're talking about, a kid that can really shine this year for us and be a hidden gem.
I like the fact that it looks to me like Darren DeVries plans on being a team who was going to just lock people down on the defensive side of the floor.
Right. No doubt about it. So, but this kid's extremely, extremely special, the defensive end. You pair him with Sincere Harris, and you're already starting to form an incredible. I'm telling you, I don't want to oversell this because O'Connie has work to do. Sincere Harris is a freshman. They do have work to do on the offensive end, especially. But defensively, different story. Both these guys are probably ready. I would say O'Connie is definitely ready to play defense in the league. He needs to gain a little weight. If you look at Gabe, he was much thicker, but I do think O'Connie's ready to roll.
Yeah. And what's his? He's 6'8", right?
Yes, he played a lot of 4. He even played some 5 at USC. But he's going to be a wing guy, I would imagine, in the Big 12. I mean, if they play him at the 4, it'll be because we play 4 guards anyway.
Right.
So
awesome.
He might play the 4. He might.
Good deal. So great news. So for all the fans out there wondering where the talents is, it's coming. Oconee committed. We've gotten Sincere Harris. We've gotten the other kid from Illinois, Amani Hansberry. JDK says join late. Do we have a center yet? Not yet, not yet, JDK, but they're trying.
Is it on his Instagram page? Is that where he committed at? I haven't found it yet. But I do see a lot of people posting about it.
It wasn't on his Twitter account either.
Instagram?
I'm checking now.
Okay. Seton Hall's got Scotty Milton wrong.
No, I don't see it on there, man. I don't know. I don't know where it's coming from. Where'd you guys see that at? Because it's not on his Instagram account or his Twitter account.
People are posting it. Let me ask Keenan. Or shit. Let me ask somebody. What's up, Todd Withrow? Right, I was saying he's coming off of being a freshman. He was I'm sorry, my brain scrambled, Tosh. So, Ronald, we got to know where you found that at, brother. We should have probably fact checked it before we started going off about it, but curious to know where it's at. I can't check Rivals or anything because I'm on here. Did Rothstein say it or something?
I don't know.
Let's see. Well, we can't just be silent on here.
We got to make sure this news is accurate. This is kind of important.
Right, but one of us doesn't search, one of us can't. You know what I mean?
Go ahead,
We're
man.
both searching.
I'm sorry, guys. We got thrown way off track here by being told this, and now we don't know if it's true. But anyway, let's go ahead and switch gears a minute. While you're looking that up, Paul, I'm gonna bring up the article about the point guard from Oklahoma State that's going to be visiting this weekend or this week. There's an article on, and it's not a VIP article; it's a public article over at Ear Sports. It says Oklahoma State point guard transfer Javon Small is currently ranked the #1 point guard in the transfer portal, according to 24/7 Sports. The rising senior earned that rating after a solid junior. You're gonna have to turn your volume down or something or off.
It's off. It won't do it. I've got it all the way down.
Just turn it on vibrate or something. Well, you can't. Never mind. That's if you can turn it all the way to silent, it won't make some noise at all. The rising senior earned that rating after a solid junior campaign that saw him average 15.1 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 4.1 assists for the Cowboys. So he did that in Big 12 conference play. So nobody can come at him about stats. He's fresh off a visit to Ole Miss, but has 3 more schools he plans to visit, including WVU. Check out the full update in the video above. And there was a video that Mike and Chris did on it. It says Javon Small.
Sorry. I was just saying that's the bad part. That's the bad news is who he's visiting.
Yeah. Javon Small is a stat-stuffing guard who spent his first 2 years at East Carolina, where he averaged nearly 16 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds per game as a sophomore before putting his name on the transfer portal for the first time. This year at Oklahoma State, he averaged 15 points, 4 assists, and nearly 5 rebounds a game while shooting 44% from the floor, 37% from 3, and 87% from the free throw line. While he led Oklahoma State in usage this year, what stands out is the overlap of volume, versatility, and efficiency in his game. Small can operate effectively in a variety of different situations, Physically strong with solid perimeter size at 6'3", he can play both on and off the ball. He was most frequently utilized as a pick-and-roll playmaker where he could attack either side, shoot off the dribble, and make live dribble passes with both hands. While he has a consistent threat, or was a consistent threat to make tough shots off the dribble, he was an exceptionally accurate spot-up shooter, ranking in the 99th percentile per Synergy Sports. While he rarely settled for mid-range shots, he shot 55% in that range per pivot analysis, an almost outlier-type number. Defensively, the analytics are much more concerning, as he ranks in the bottom 30th percentile. Despite his positional size and strength, he's not quite as quick laterally as some other high-level guards, and sometimes seems to get a little lost off the ball. However, he is a terrific rebounding guard. So he can rebound and play offense, struggles on the defensive end, but to me, this provides balance. You're bringing in, assuming the Oconee news is accurate, you're bringing in Harris. You've got some defensive guys. This balances it out with somebody who's really good on the offensive end and the rebounding guard, which we know DeVries likes on his teams. So, got another super chat from Kenny Evans. Kenny, thank you for the super chat. He says, "Love your egg video. Coupon ACC look tasty." Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate that. I'm assuming coupon is on ACC look tasty. Got it. Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for the support. I did a members only video that featured an egg. That's what he's talking about over on my Couz's Corner channel. But anyway, what's your thoughts on Javon Small, Paul?
He's terrific. He's a great player. Defense he can get better at, especially if he's playing in a unit that demands it. And the thing about Coach DeVries is he will demand it. He will demand effort from there. On that aspect from the defensive end. And look, point guards they're either the focal point of a defense, or you could protect them with certain packages, right, Couz?
Yeah.
And so in this situation, you could probably protect him, especially if they play man to man, but if they switch, it just depends on how they want to do it, but they can try and put him on different players. But at the end of the day, that's why it's going to be really important for us to go out and get a good rim protector, because not everybody's going to play solid all the time, and people are going to get beat. So if you've got one guy that's like that, and the rest of your guys are solid, that's pretty good, So you prefer your point guard not to be your liability, but better than somebody who has to guard the shooting guard.
Yeah, great point.
It's like I mean, they're both terrible, really, when you get down to it. Like, as far as they're both bad, but would you rather have had like Andrew Wiggins guarded by a crappy player, or the point guard for Kansas, whoever that was that year?
Right.
Normally, those wing guys are the better scorers. So, not always though. Sometimes the point guard's the best scorer on a basketball team.
Right.
You never know. We'll just have to see. I'm sure we'll have. You don't have your guard. Your guard doesn't have to guard the point guard either. That's another thing.
Derek Murray had the commitment on Twitter, but has taken the tweet. Who's Derek Murray? I don't even know who that is. Do you know who Derek Murray is, Paul?
No, I don't, man.
Okay. So apologize, guys. We should have been more responsible. Ronald, it's all good, man. Appreciate you owning that and apologizing for it and letting us know what happened there, because we weren't able to find it anywhere.
I mean, you've got people like Huddy Tuddy posted incoming.
Right.
You got Voice of Morgantown saying something's about to happen. Sounds like some people have heard it's going to happen. I haven't talked to my sources at all today, to be honest. Just being completely honest. So I'm not in the loop on this one.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to find out now.
Yep. Josh says he thinks Kiki Tandy how you pronounce it, out of Jacksonville State would be a nice pickup. Said he's played a big stage already at Xavier, and as this past season he averaged 18 a game. He's out of Kentucky, would be a good get. I'm not familiar with him, to be honest with you, Josh. And Tosh is talking about our good defensive coaching staff. Leo wants us to go after Clifford Omorai from Rutgers, the 6'11 guy. And Timothy Green says he hopes your allergies get better. It's my understanding West Virginia has reached out to the center from Ohio State. I can't. Paul? What's the guy's name from Ohio State? I can't remember his name.
Felix Akpara.
Yes, Felix Akpara. They've reached out to him, as my understanding. Would love.
Yeah, he's visiting Tennessee.
Ooh.
You know, and he's there. I think he's there now, or I know he's scheduled a visit there. This is a guy. Listen, he's an elite defensive player, like top 95 percentile of the country elite rim protector. It's like getting Jesse Edwards, but a different kind of player. He's a good rim protector. He averaged 6 a game. He has the potential to be better, but he's a rim runner. He's not a creative guy with his back to the basket really at all. So, you know, you got to be careful adding so many defensive only players, but this one would be one you couldn't pass up, you know. But I know DeVries likes to have a big that he can throw it to and score. So we'll see how Parra fits. I've heard a few other players as well.
Okay. Derek Murray, I guess, is back to that topic. Don't mean to keep jumping around, but Derek Murray is just a guy with a basketball page, a scouting service, I guess he runs.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about now. I don't know. I think I've spoken to him before, and I do think he covers basketball, maybe Blue Gold News or.
Well, I don't think he's tied to West Virginia. I think he covers national basketball. But he put a firework emoji with the meme of or a GIF of the Mountaineer underneath it 38 minutes ago. So, but apparently he may have jumped the gun earlier and had to delete his tweet. I don't know. Before it was official. But nonetheless, some people must think Toby O'Connor's coming, but it can't be confirmed yet.
Right.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yep.
But nonetheless, the other story that was out today, we'll talk a little bit about. Paul and I both probably going to have to jump off a little early tonight. Just to let you guys know, I've got another previous engagement that I've already committed to at 8, and Paul's allergies are I can tell are giving him a fit tonight. So I don't think he's feeling real well. But well, matter of fact, I know he's not because he told me. But anyway, not trying to speak for you, man. Sorry about that. I shouldn't do that. The coaching situation. Obviously, I'm not going to share the article because it's behind the paywall, but we will talk about what's in it. I don't think it's right to do that to people who when you put stuff behind the paywall, you put it behind the paywall for a reason.
But at the same time, this is public information. The salaries themselves, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's why I say I will talk about it. I'm just not going to do a screen share or anything.
Fair enough.
Basically, Mike Cazaza wrote an article on the salaries of the West Virginia basketball coaching staff. And it comes down to this. They had $1.4 million set aside for 5 assistant coaches. Well, let me back up a minute. Basically, they're paying the assistant coaching staff record salaries, higher than any coaches in West Virginia history, assistant coaches. Chester Frazier, who's coming over from Illinois as an associate head coach, is going to be making $575,000 a year for over 2 years. And then Corey Barnett, the assistant coach from Nevada, is going to be making $325,000 on a 1-year contract. Both of those are higher numbers than what coaches were making in the past, especially that 575,000 number. Nick Norton, who's coming over as an assistant coach and director of player development, is going to be making 150,000. They have $350,000 left for two coaches, essentially, because they're still going to hire two more coaches. And Nelson Hernandez, who was hired to be basically the new Jay Couz, the director of so I'm trying to find his title here. They call it a GM, but technically it's director of player
personnel
and recruiting. He's going to be making $250,000 on a 1-year contract. Jay Couz made $90,000 on a 10-month contract, which equals out to $108,000 for a 12-month span. So
it's a tragedy.
$250,000 for the new guy. Jay was making 108 this past season. Now, I don't know what Jay was making before when Huggins was here. My understanding, I don't. It may have been a little more than that. I'm not sure, but nonetheless, there's more in the article that we don't really need to get into. It's kind of gets into the nuts and bolts of it more. There, you know, some of the incentives and things like that. But yeah, that's it. Two coaches are making 60% of the entire assistant coaches pool, and that's Chester Frazier and Corey Barnett. So let's take that for what it's worth.
I'll say this, man. You know, I'm not real happy about what Jay made. I think it's kind of cool. It's not cool that everybody turned on him. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people did after he left. You know, I just think he deserved more than $90K. Is all I'm saying. You know,
yeah, I agree with that.
People in the know that. See, from people, at least what I've heard from, he turned down the job to stay at WVU that probably would have paid him more, and it didn't work out for him. Sometimes you take chances like that don't. But I do think Jay earned his keep. You know, it should have been paid a bit more. Like, you know, Couz and I talked about it off camera. I don't know everything that happened behind the scenes, but at the end of the day, I only know Jay. So I'm loyal like that, you know.
Plus, he did a hell of a job.
He did a good job, you know. This has not had anything to do with Hernandez either. I'm not bashing him.
Yeah.
I just feel bad because, you know, Jay probably had to look at that today and think, gosh, man, was I really only worth $90K? This guy's worth 200, whatever it is. You know,
yeah.
He's only
for the same job.
Same job, but that he obviously did a great job at last year. Unforeseen circumstances made it look way worse than it really was. And the whole team got to play with the guys that they filled in around those guys. I think they're a tournament team, no doubt, you know. But at the end of the day, it didn't work out.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. So yeah, I mean, the new assistant coaches are going to be making a heck of a lot more than the old assistant coaches, but we got to keep in mind Huggins was making $4 million a year. DeVries is making 2.8. So they do have more money to throw at assistant coaches. And if you want to be competitive in today's landscape, you've got to pay your coaches. You know, it just does kind of make you feel bad a little bit for the previous staff, especially Jay, when you see what he made for the job he did. And again, nothing against Nelson Hernandez. He'll probably earn every dime of it.
Right.
It's nothing, absolute nothing has nothing to do with him. I'm sure he's a good guy and good at what he does.
Yeah.
But this is strictly about what happened before.
Yeah, exactly, Couz. You know, like I said, when he got hired, I said, hey, he's got some big shoes to fill.
Yep. Yeah, BPA. That's kind of what we were saying. But man, there's $142 million gap, man. I mean, that's It's a big gap, And again, the gap is nothing, and that's nothing towards the new guy. It's just it's the same job, and Jay had kind of proven himself, right? But anyway, it is what it is.
At the end of the day, this is, it came down to we want to know connections to Huggins. We all know it. It's not like it's a secret, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and
So,
I don't necessarily, like I've said on the show openly, I don't necessarily disagree that was the right move to make. But when you look at those numbers on paper, it's pretty mind boggling, Yeah. Yeah. Everybody, please like the video. If you like what we're doing here at Hoops from the Hills, if you like this episode, please be sure to comment. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Don't forget to check out our football shows, Mountaineer Paul Talks Football and Couz's Corner.
A couple big visitors on the football side coming up, guys.
Absolutely.
I've got a video on Mountaineer Paul Talks Football right now, if you haven't seen it yet, that highlights those visitors. 3 visitors we'll be having. All three have high major offers across the board. Like, seriously. 2 of them have probably 50 offers from Power 5 teams. So, I mean, these are real big time prospects. I don't know what our chances are, but my conversations with them, which I highlight in the video, which I post screenshots of our conversations and stuff, seem to indicate pretty good chance.
Timothy Green wants to know from you, Paul, what do you think this team looks like by the time we start playing ball?
It's a good question. I think if Coach DeVries had it his way, according to what others have told me and what I've seen at Drake, I think he's going to do what it takes to win first, which is probably be a defensive-minded team. I think that'll be what he leans into year one. It's easier to control because it takes effort to play good defense, more so than talent, although talent elevates defenses. So I think that's what we'll do first. We'll probably be not as efficient. Now, this could be wrong, but we may not be as efficient as like the Drake team, like top 20, top 25 offensive team. But I still think we'll be good on offense with Tucker and whoever else we add. So I think we'll probably have a 5 that can really defend. We're going to have wing players that can defend, a guard that can distribute the ball and run the pick and roll and toss it to guys that rim run. And probably 2 to 3 really good shooters on the floor at all times that guard can distribute the ball to. So Kirk Risa would have been pretty good for that. And if the guard could shoot like the small kid, that's even better. But 4 shooters will be on the floor at all times, along with the guy that can defend the rim and rebound. He also likes to veer towards guards that can rebound, as Couz highlighted. So I think that's the kind of team you're looking at. It's going to be a team that runs in transition, guys. This is what he does. It's part of his philosophy. He does a 5-out motion, basically, in transition is what they call it. The way they practice for it, as I've said on here before, is they have certain motions that they yell out in transition, and the players have to do them in real time. They usually call it out around half court. You can find this video on Google if you just type in Darren DeVries coaching video. It will pop up. You can see 2 different videos pop up. One with where they're running their man-to-man defense and shows how they work through screens. So that gives you an idea of the defense. And then the other one is their transition offense and how they initiate that. So you can really get a good feel for what they want to do from those 2 videos.
Thank you for sharing that, man. That was awesome. Anthony Perry has a question. He says, do you think it falls on Hugs for taking the large salary and not paying his assistants as much? Neil just took less to make sure his assistants were paid right. Not necessarily. I mean, I guess that's a fair argument, but I mean, I don't know that his assistants were happy, I guess, with what they were doing. They liked working for Hugs. They liked working at WVU. I'm sure Hugs, Hugs was very, very loyal to his people. So I don't want to put the blame on him for that. I'm sure they felt well taken care of, or they wouldn't have stayed as long as they did.
Yep, agreed, brother.
But
you're welcome. You're welcome, Ted.
That's a fair question, though.
It is. I mean, on one hand, you could say he earned it, no doubt, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no question he earned the money. Um, and it's also a status and prestige thing among coaches, right? I mean, if you are, let's say you're Mike Krzyzewski, although he's a pretty humble guy amongst the greats, he's probably not the best example, but would you feel okay if Bill Self makes more than you? Hell no. You're better than Bill Self,
Yeah.
ever was, you
Yeah.
know? So some coaches have that ego part that's inserted into that want to say, I'm among the 5 best, highest paid coaches. It's not even
Well,
the money as much.
yeah. And it's, I mean, look at the Nick Saban contract. He had a contract where any coach, if any SEC coach, and maybe any coach in the country, I don't remember the details, but any coach that got a raise above him, he automatically got one to pass him. There was actually a clause in his contract, basically, that he automatically had to be the highest paid coach. I mean, that's
Wow.
that's
That's when you know you got it.
yeah. But I mean, and who earned that more than Nick Saban, right? 7 championships.
I mean, yeah, it's worth it for sure. They have unlimited money in Alabama football, though, so it's not like it affected anything. They can still pay. I've actually seen it's the best staff anyway.
Yeah. Brandon Pickrell, I'm going to take that as the highest of compliments, my man. He says, this show always reminds me of sitting around with the guys in my family talking WVU sports.
That truly is what we want to be. You know, Couz and I have aspirations to break in and be a little bit more on the professional side, but we want to do it this way. You know what I mean? We're not professionally trained guys. So, like a lot of you, I just studied and watched a lot of ball. You know, so sometimes it amazes me how much you guys know.
Right.
This is my job, and people still know more than me sometimes.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
That's why we, look, there's a lot of fan bases out there who know their team and know their sport. But I'd put the West Virginia fan base up against any of them any day of the week.
No, we just beat Kirby Smart and a couple others.
That's right. Yeah, Jonathan says his alma mater just paid Calipari $1 million less a year than what he was making at UK. So that, I mean, money's not everything. But yeah, I mean, sometimes, there are other factors that come into play, like the pressure to win at UK, things like that too. How much resources is this university going to put towards basketball, those types of things.
Yep.
Leslie, thank you for jumping on. We appreciate you being on here. Jeremy Armentrout says, since Virginia went with NIL and legislation, do y'all see West Virginia moving in the same direction?
Yeah,
not
that's
sure yet, Jeremy. I probably eventually, but again, who knows? We'll have to wait and see what comes from the next legislative session in early 2025. And then he says, and Paul, I got to say, you guys are knowledgeable and a true fan of the game. Thank you, Jeremy. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate that. That's what, at the end of the day, man, that's what I work hard to do. Couz and I know our roles in this. We kind of call him, I'm like the color guy. He's the play-by-play guy. That's how we kind of view it. We both love the roles we're in.
Yep.
Because he's able to read off the screen. Not that he doesn't know anything else, but he's able to read off the screen and just kind of give his thoughts without having to get too deep. And I have to memorize all this crap. But he's got life and family and job, and I don't. So that's why they fit us. I have a life, I guess.
You do. You have a life.
But not family. Except for I have immediate family, but not like a family of I don't have my kids with me or anything.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah, it's it's cool. I enjoy this role, man. I actually it took us a while to kind of get our niche down and get our groove, but I think we got it now.
Yeah.
I think.
This channel's crushing, really, guys. It outperforms our football channels all the time. It really does.
Yeah.
And it's smaller.
It's actually doing so well. We've actually never we for about 30 seconds tinkered with the idea of doing away with our football channels and starting over with a brand new one together, but don't think we're going to do that.
Yeah. Because neither one of us wants to kill our channel.
Yeah, and we don't want to start over. Jonathan Palmer, I got 2.5 years of work in. Paul's got about 1.5 to 2 years of work in. whatever it is. Jonathan says Couz had an awesome episode on the overall state of the Big 12 and its future. Heck of a great video, guys. Check. Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate that.
He did.
And Jeremy, I appreciate it. When you compliment Paul, I take it as a compliment to the show. So no worries there, man. No worries at all. James says he just joined the chat. Who is the guard West Virginia's looking at? It is a guy named
Javon
Small from Oklahoma. He was a starting point guard at Oklahoma State. He averaged 15 points, almost 5 rebounds, and 4 assists a game in the Big 12 this past year, and shot high percentage from the floor. He's not as good on the defensive end as some of the other guys they're looking at and are getting, but he's a true point guard, and he can distribute the basketball and score with the basketball. So, Darren DeVries is looking, he's filling roles on this team. He's finding guys that are good in certain roles so that he can cover all of his bases, basically, is what it boils down to. All right.
You got anything else, brother?
I don't, man, and I'm gonna have to jump off of here.
That's what I was asking.
I got another commitment I got to get to.
Okay.
But I appreciate. I mean, you're welcome to stay on, obviously, if you want to.
I'm gonna have to get some allergy medicine in me, man.
Yeah.
It's starting to getting to me a little
I got you. Hey, thanks everybody for hopping on here. If you're watching this on the replay, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. But make sure you have notifications on your device turned on, or it does no good to turn on the bell. And just let everybody know about us, man. Who's from the Hills? We're growing like wildfire here. And I'm not saying that to be cocky or arrogant. It's just I'm really proud of it. Paul and I, we're really proud of what we do here, man. And we couldn't do it without all of you guys in the chat and all of you that are watching on X. We thank you as well. Be sure to follow the Hoops from the Hills X account as well, and also follow Couz 206 and Paul Mountaineer on X as well for updated news and stuff. But anyway, got to roll. Thanks again. We're done.